Hello everybody and welcome to today's video. We are going to be on a 5-day adventure here in Wakayama Prefecture, walking the ancient pilgrimage trail, the Kumano Kodo. We are going to see the grand shrines, stay at Minshuku bed and breakfast accommodations, and explore the woods along this sacred trail. So let's go enjoy this spiritual walk here in Wakayama. The trip started in Osaka, which was packed with people and bustle. But after getting on the express Kuroshio train, I was soon speeding out of Osaka towards the sleepy coastal city of Tanabe in Wakayama Prefecture. It took 2.5 hours to reach Kii-Tanabe station, which was a quiet area with just a few shops and restaurants around. So we just arrived at Kii-Tanabe station, and exiting the station you have the Tourist Information Center where you can buy your tickets for the bus, and you can also pick up your dual pilgrimage stamp book, and the bus will come at number 2, which is right ahead of us. We got our first stamp at the Tourist Information Center, which is very exciting, as well as some great maps to help us along the journey. Since we had a bit of time before the next bus, we stopped by a restaurant called Neighborhood, which had a colorful and filling lunch set. Once on the bus, it was about a 40-minute ride to Takijiri, the traditional starting point of the Nakahechi pilgrimage trail. I was surprised by how many people were packed onto the bus. We just got off the bus here at Takijiri. After getting off the bus, we could see the Tonda River and the octagonal Kumano Kodo pilgrimage center across the way. We have made it to the start of the Kumano Kodo trail. This is the Kumano Kan, place where you can have a little bit of snack beforehand and pick up the stamp book before starting your journey. Across the street from the pilgrimage center was the official start of the Nakahechi Trail at Takijiri Oji. Takijiri Oji is a subsidiary shrine of the Kumano Grand Shrines and is one of the most prestigious of the Oji shrines. It serves as a place of worship and rest. After getting our first stamp on the trail, it was time to start the steep uphill climb to Takahara. The route to Takahara wasn't too long, but it does start steeply with a path filled with rocks and roots. So we are starting the walk today. We are starting from Takijiri and we are going to be going to Takahara, and it is a 3.7 kilometer walk, and the first part of our journey today will be pretty uphill. So we're going to take it at a nice casual pace, enjoying the mountains and warming up our legs for these next days to come. It was nice to finally be on the trail and to take in the atmosphere with a steady and slow pace. So the Kumano Kodo contains a series of different pilgrimage routes. The one we are on is called Nakahechi, and it was once the route for the imperial family, and it dates back more than 1,000 years ago. We came across another Oji shrine, added a new stamp to our books, then continued onwards. So these small shrines that we have been passing and getting the little stamp set, these are called Oji shrines, and they are subsidiary shrines of the grand shrines, and they are often referred to as the Kujuku Oji,
or 99 oji, and that doesn't particularly mean that there are 99 of them, but it's just to refer to there being a lot of these smaller shrines. Up and up we walked, stepping carefully over tree roots, giving the thighs a nice burn. It was the middle of the day, so the sun shone brightly through the trees, casting contrasting shadows around as we walked. A nice breeze filled the air so it wasn't too hot, and the sound of the leaves could be heard in the trees. So this Kumano Kodo pilgrimage trail was registered as a UNESCO World Heritage Pilgrim Walk, and in the world there are actually only 2 such pilgrim walks that are registered. It is this one, the Kumano Kodo, and another in Spain, the Camino de Santiago. So because there's only 2, there is a way to become a dual pilgrim. So you can get a stamp book at the tourist center, and if you complete the Kumano Kodo and then the Camino de Santiago, then you can be certified as a dual pilgrim of these World Heritage Pilgrim sites, which is pretty cool and something that now that I've learned about this program, I'm quite interested in. So maybe you'll see me in Spain on a future video. So this Kumano Kodo Nakahechi trail that we're doing, it stretches east to west, and while traditionally it was always walked by pilgrims, there is now a network of buses that you can take to not have to walk all of it. So that makes it a little bit easier and more accessible to people of all abilities. So you definitely can walk the whole thing over the course of multiple days, but you can also just bus to the onsen towns or walk some, bus a little bit. So we just got to the Tsurugi Sutra Mound, and this will be the highest spot that we reached today at 371 meters. It was pretty much all uphill until here, but afterwards we'll have a little bit of downhill, then a little bit more uphill before reaching Takahara. So we are on the downhill right now, so I can finally speak without huffing and puffing, but going pretty speedy on this nice downhill section. There aren't as many trees around us either, so it's opened up a little bit. So just enjoying this little rest on our legs. But the uphill wasn't so bad actually, just took it pretty slow and climbed carefully over all of the roots, and we made it to the mound. So now we are just going, enjoying this first day here on the Kumano Kodo. We have reached a signpost telling us that we have 2.2 kilometers from here until the Takahara Kumano Jinja. So if we take the trail to the left, we will go up to a little lookout spot, 270 meters. And you can take the route to the right, which is a little bit flatter, but they will both meet up. And we have joined up with the main path again from the lookout point. We have 2 kilometers to Takahara. Let's go, let's go. Ready for this onsen that's going to be meeting us at the accommodations. So one of the things that you'll want to keep in mind when booking your Kumano Kodo trip is your accommodations. So this is something that you will want to secure early once you have your date set, because there is a very limited number of lodging facilities available along the route. There is the official Kumano Kodo site, which is an online website where you can search for places, make reservation requests, and then they will check the availability with the owners, and then they'll get back to you, and if it is available, you can proceed with making your accommodations. This service also helps with planning luggage transfer service and can be a very helpful place to learn all about the trail. You can also book independently using sites like booking.com if you find any availabilities there. But the big note here is just to book your places early, because they do fill up super quickly, especially during the popular months of fall and spring. This is marker 6, which means we are almost there. It has now flattened out, giving us another nice and peaceful walk here as we end close to day one. And now we are at just 0.4 kilometers here until the Takahara Kumano Jinja. So close. And you can see it is spring. We have these lovely blossoms. I think these are plum blossoms right here. After about 3 hours of steady walking, we made it to the ridgetop settlement of Takahara. So Takahara, the small settlement that we are in right now, is also known as Kirinosato, which means village in the mist. And that is because this area and surrounding areas can often be seen shrouded in mist. On our way to Takahara Shrine, we passed by a neat wood craft shop and a free shoe repair station. At the shrine, we wished for a safe journey and added more stamps to the booklets. So now we are walking to find our accommodation for tonight. It is called Kirinosato Takahara Lodge, and it is a little bit off of the Kumano Kodo trail, but just a little bit ways. So excited for what this little lodge has to offer us tonight. Hopefully gonna get a great meal and a good rest. The lodge had a large open space for dining, an outside terrace with a view over the mountains, onsen baths, and 8 private rooms. Here we are at our room. We have a tatami room with Western style beds, so we will get a nice comfy sleep tonight, and we have a balcony that overlooks the mountains. So we have successfully checked into our hotel. I am standing on my room's balcony right now with this amazing view of the mountains behind us, but we have successfully finished day one of the Kumano Kodo route. It was super nice, definitely a bit of uphill. There were 2 sections of uphill climbs starting at Takijiri and then finally ending up where we are now at Takahara, but I loved being in the woods, kind of taking our time, and then getting the stamps along the way. So a really nice spot, and now we are at this lovely little guest house lodge. There is dinner that is going to be in a couple hours, but before that I'm going to check out the cafe space and then go to the bath to warm up a little bit. But here we are, look at this. Just this morning we were in the crazy station of Osaka, so it's hard to believe that I am here now, but going to really soak up this mountain adventure and enjoy tonight. Before dinner, I had a lovely soak in the onsen bath and got to see the sun slip behind the mountains. By the time it was dinner, I was famished. The meal started off with slices of fresh sashimi, small side dishes, a tapas plate of traditional local ingredients fused with international flavors, and a steaming dish of sukiyaki beef. For dessert, we had a stuffed apple and vanilla ice cream. Needless to say, it was the perfect way to end the day, and I fell asleep soon after like a rock. Ohayo gozaimasu minasan, and welcome to a fresh morning here in the village of mist. This morning I didn't see any mist, but I had a great sleep and dinner last night, and I think I went to bed around 8 p.m. I was so tired and slept all the way until around 7, so got a lot of sleep today, and I am getting ready to have breakfast and then head out for day 2 of this pilgrimage walk. The goal for today is a place called Chikatsuyu, and it is about 10 kilometers away. So it says it will take about 4 to 6 hours. I'm walking a little bit on the slower side to take footage, but looking forward to this slightly longer trip than we had yesterday. We'll have some moderate elevation gains today as well, and then some downhill at the end. But I'm really looking forward to seeing what this section of the pilgrimage trail holds. Let's go get some breakfast and then head back onto the road. For breakfast, we had hot eggs, fresh bread, fruits, and yogurt. We are saying bye to our lovely lodge, Kirinosato Takahara. And we will be heading back on the road today. Doing his stretches before we get going. As I mentioned today, we are going to Chikatsuyu, about 10 kilometers walk from here. And now we're walking in the morning, so lots of time to enjoy today. And it is no lie, we have stepped 1 minute onto the trail and we are climbing up. But a very beautiful little path here with some water on the side. So we have reached our first marker of today. This is marker number 8, and it's letting us know that we are heading to Chikatsuyu, and it will be 8.9 kilometers. So we are saying bye to Takahara and heading up the mountain now to our next destination. And we are back in the forest, surrounded by these trees. We've got some green on the ground, the red bark, and some pine needles, painting our morning landscape today. And still lots of birdies in the trees as we walk. And right now it is almost 8:45, so getting a relatively early start today. And just gonna take our time as we make it to the next little town. This is marker number 9, continuing our walk in the woods. Super beautiful light coming through the trees right now, and morning atmosphere. We've come 1.7 kilometers from Takahara, and our first main stop will be this Daimonzaka, which is 0.1 kilometers up here. So this was the Daimonzaka remains, another little Oji shrine, and we were able to get stamp number 7 here. Starting to fill in our books on our way to the dual pilgrim program, and also completing the Wakayama stamp book. So we were at the Daimonzaka, headed uphill this time. We'll have a little bit more uphill before some down, and then we'll get to the Jujo Oji. We'll probably take a little break. By now, we knew the drill. Arrive at the Oji, find the stamp box, and add new stamps to the books. Seeing and collecting all of the different designs made the trip that much more fun. After the Jujo Oji at marker number 14, we continued to climb towards the highest part of the entire Nakahechi Route, the remains of the Uwada Jaya tea house. Guess what we just came across? Almost on the highest part of the trail that we'll see today. We've got some good old snow, or some frost, lining the trail here. Alright friends, we have made it to the Uwadawa Tea House Ruins. This is the highest part of our hike today, and we are at an elevation of about 600 meters. Our lovely lodge for the evening packed us a bento, so now we get a little picnic time here at the ruins. So I'm going to dive into that bento, fuel up a little bit for the rest of our hike. So we just finished a very quick little lunch break. It was a little bit chilly, so hands were cold, but got to eat a little bit of fried fish, some vegetables, and rice. So now I'm filled up and we are already heading downhill. So here for the second half, the easier part of today's journey as we make it to Chikatsuyu. Here we are at a place where we can walk to the threefold moon viewing point, and from here It will be 0.9 miles to Osaka Moto Oji. So we did go to see that viewing point, of which there was none, so you can skip that. And now we are continuing downhill to the Osaka Moto Oji, 0.9 kilometers from here. We just got our next stamp, and there is water by us, and now a bridge. After following the small creek, the pilgrimage route connected with the highway and the Kumano Kodo Nakahechi Michi no Eki rest stop. This was a place travelers could pick up local souvenirs, snacks, and drinks. We are making moves, friends. We have 1.1 kilometers until we get to Chikatsuyu. There were several statues at this point, including the Gyuba Doji, which showed the first emperor said to have done the imperial pilgrimage on the Kumano. Next to this was a stone carving of the legendary founder of the mixed religion Shugendo. We just passed marker number 25 and are heading into town. You can see lots of little buildings below us, and right here we have a little gazebo that looks out onto a nice little scene. So if you want to rest over here, there's a nice space. And we can see Chikatsuyu beneath us. Hello everyone! Welcome to Chikatsuyu! After arriving at Chikatsuyu, we made a visit to the Chikatsuyu Oji remains, grabbed a drink at a local cafe, then headed to our Minshuku bed and breakfast by the river. And in front of us, we have the Hiki River, the river that flows through Chikatsuyu and is right next to our accommodation facility for the night. So this is going to be our room for tonight. We are on the futons today, on the tatami mats, and then we have a private shower and bathroom, but there is also an onsen attached as well. So if we want to use the onsen, then there's that too. But this will be our room to relax in for tonight. We have dinner and breakfast included again. So going to wash up a little bit and then fill our bellies with some more good food. Reward for another long day on the Kumano Kodo. I enjoyed another lovely soak by the town's only onsen, then made my way to the dining area for the evening's meal. This was another dinner that did not disappoint. It included seared sashimi, simmered eggplant, crispy fried fish, vegetables, another bubbling sukiyaki hot pot, and fried tempura. It was exactly what my tired body needed to end the day. Ohayo gozaimasu minasan. Welcome to this misty morning here in Chikatsuyu. I had a really good night yesterday after checking into our little Minshuku, took a nice onsen bath, relaxed a bit, and then had a lovely meal here. I ended up sleeping by 8 p.m. and waking up this morning at 6:10 a.m. So got a full night's sleep. Compared to the last 2 days before this, this will be our longest day of walking, but I'm going to start with a little short 10-minute bus ride just to cut down the walking a little bit. So going to head out after packing up, but the goal today is to get to the Kumano Hongu Taisha and look at this beautiful mist that is around us. We didn't see the misty valley at the Kirinosato in Takahara, but here by the river we have a lovely coloring of mist. Let's go, day 3. So right now we are at Chikatsuyu and we are going to take the Ryujin bus to Doyukawa Bashi bus stop that is right before the log bridge and detour. And we are going to start right away with the really steep incline. So from the log bridge to the detour pass, there is a steep incline. Then we're going to have a little bit of downhill. Then we're going to have another steep incline as we climb over the Mikoshi Toge Pass. Another leisurely descent, and then we will just continue with a few inclines, but overall descending on our way to Kumano Hongu Taisha. And then tonight, if all goes well, we will make it to Kawayu Onsen, where we will have our stay. We fueled up in the morning with a nice breakfast, and then we're off. Day 3! There is the sun trying to peek through this misty morning. This is the bus stop, just a quick walk away from our accommodation. But you can see here that there is only one in the morning at 7:23, so we'll be taking that one. And then we'll get off about 7 stops later. And we just got off of a packed bus, but we are now on our road going to the log bridge and then the detour pass. But having experienced that, if you want to ride the bus, make sure you get to the bus stop early because we were crammed in there and the people who came late almost didn't make it on the bus. And if you really can walk the whole thing, then that would be good because taking the bus is quite hectic, and yeah, but we did save about 2 or 3 hours from that ride, and since we're walking pretty leisurely, that was necessary for today. But now we will be back on our feet for the rest of the day. So come with us on this very early morning. It is right now 7:48, so going to just keep walking the rest of today. You can hear the sound of the little stream by us. Very peaceful here with all the rocks covered in moss and the trees surrounding it. And this part of the trail, as you can see, is paved. But we are already on a slight incline. Back on the route on this bridge as we will start to take the detour pass. While this definitely is good morning to my legs, we have started right away with the incline and we're just going to keep going. But feels like the first day where we just start with a bang, putting those thighs to work as we climb. Already have a good sweat going on, but trying to get to the top of this detour, one out of the 2 inclines that we're gonna do today. Get it out of the way early and really feel that the legs are alive. But the path is pretty narrow here and kind of drops off on the left side. So very different atmosphere than we were in when we started the hike yesterday. Take a little break here. We can see the mountains peeking through. And we have entered the forest now. There's some cool sunlight peeking through the trees. And then we got a little bit of wind just to cool us off. So we are now in the trees and we are heading downhill. Oh, it was a little bit of a sweaty, rough start, but now heading downhill underneath these tall trees that are swaying in the wind feels much better. Someone here already has a very sweaty back. And up ahead, we have a stamp station. We have number 14. We skipped a few because we took the bus, but daijoubu desu for another adventure. To number 14. And we are crossing the water. It is super clear here. We also have 0.4 kilometers until Kawaoji, but a really nice little bridge and water here. So we just picked up the Kawayu memorial stamp. Here, there's a little water still flowing by, and then we have a nice little shrine here. After that Kawayu, we are back climbing the mountain. Had a little nice break, but now we are on some switchbacks. Under these tall trees, it's nice to look up, and you can see them swaying ever so slightly in the breeze, because they're just so tall. Wow, we made it, I think, to the top of the pass. Heart is racing, but we are at number 53, right over here. And that means we are going to go straight down. Next up is Oyunohara at 3.5 kilometers, but looks like it's going to be a very narrow path that they're asking us to go down single file. But it's nice because there's not that many people around us here. So we are at this part. You have to be careful because the route sharply goes off the path. So this is the path we are walking on, but we are going to be going down these steps, and we are going to go to Hosshinmon and Inahana. This portion of the trail is very flat and very wide. A nice relaxing stroll here now. This is the Funatama Jinja, right after the little rest stop with the bathrooms. Here we are, Inohana, number 16 in our little stamp book. We have 0.4 kilometers until Hosshinmon, back with a little bit of climb. Nothing we can't handle though, but I am starting to get a little bit hungry. So thinking about those little sandwiches that we got from our Minshuku Chikatsuyu. Gonna walk under this little torii gate. Nice. And here we are. A bright red shrine here. And then we have our little stamp book, stamp station down here. Here at the Hosshinmon, this is kind of the entrance to the sacred area that we will be walking to, and we will have 6.9 kilometers to get to the Kumano Hongu Taisha. So lots of distance left, but we're going to take a little break for lunch before we start on the rest of our trek today. But that will be the last of the big push for our walking today.
Nice bench, nice sandwich.
So we just finished our little meal, had the sandwiches, hit the spot, and now we are heading on the 6.9 kilometers to the main Kumano Hongu Taisha Shrine. Whoa, recharged and ready to go. And we just saw this beautiful cherry blossom tree along the way. Lucky us, it is lovely looking. So our next stop is Mizunomi, 0.8 kilometers from here. And we have this crow who is showing us the way, and if you can see, he has 3 legs. So this 3-legged crow is the symbol of the Kumano Kodo, and the story goes that Japan's first emperor was walking this route, and when he got lost, a 3-legged crow was the thing that led him the right way. So as we get closer to the main grand shrine, Kumano Hongu Taisha, we will probably be seeing a lot more of these 3-legged crows. So this reminds me a bit of the other route that I've done before. That was the Nakasendo hike, but it's really cool to have these kinds of trails in Japan. I think this route has a lot more people than I expected. I've been quite surprised by how many people are on the trail, how many are on the buses, and how many are in the different accommodation areas. But it has still been a really nice way to get out into nature. We've had a lot of great forest walking time, and the fact that the path is just so well documented and landmarks are all along the route, it's pretty easy to come and enjoy. Here we are at Mizunomi Oji, the shrine with a water source. Time for another stamp. We are walking through a very quiet little area. Looks like there's just a few houses, but lots of singing birds. And we're back on a paved road for a short little bit. We are almost to Fushinogami, 0.1 kilometers, past these colorful flags. Looks like there's some coffee that you can get too here, and some snacks. This is right before the shrine, which is up here. From here you can see a lot of tea bushes lining the hill, but we are at this Oji shrine. We stopped for a short rest and a bright pink shiso drink at the Tonganoki Jaya Tea House. We just passed marker number 70. So coming in hot on the end of our route, where we'll be going to see the Grand Shrine. Right after number 73, we have a little branching off where we can go to a lookout point by taking the left path. For the last few miles, I have been feeling my feet. The couple days of walking has finally caught up to my little feetsies, but good thing is we are almost done. Can't wait to take off my shoes and relax in another onsen bath tonight. But we are almost to the top of the lookout point. Took a little detour. We're climbing these steps to hopefully see the shrine that we're heading towards. Here's our lookout point. Oh, and the big torii gate that we are heading towards is there in the distance. So what we are looking at is the entrance to Oyunohara, and you can see the world's largest shrine gate here, which stretches 42 meters wide and 33.9 meters tall. So from this lookout spot, we have just a little bit more to go until we reach the torii gate up close and the Grand Shrine. So don't miss this little spot. Doesn't add to the trip that much, but gives you a cool view that you otherwise cannot see. And we have made it. Welcome to the entrance of the Kumano Hongu Taisha Grand Shrine. We got our stamp right by the Amulet Center. Now we're heading down to see the Grand Torii Gate. This is the main entrance to the shrine. You can see the large crow and this big torii gate. Now we are heading to Oyunohara, about a 5-minute walk from the main shrine. Up ahead we have the huge torii gate, and at the very center there is the three-legged crow in gold. Here we are under the shrine torii gate, the largest one in the world. It's a dry stamp. And so we finally saw Oyunohara, got some photos of it, walked under it. It was super large, and that about wraps up the things that we were going to see on today's journey. Now we are going to head back to the bus stop by the Grand Shrine, going to take that to Kawayu Onsen, where we have our hotel stay today. There is an onsen, obviously, at that hotel, so I am really looking forward to it. My feet are aching and ready for a bit of rest. But that was our big third day, the longest walk so far, and it was a good one. Now going to rest up and looking forward to what dinner is tonight. To Kawayu Onsen! We just got off the bus and we are here by the river. Right by the river where people are actually having some foot baths because there is hot water coming out of it. We have our little cabin-y like lodge for tonight, which is called Pension Ashita no Mori, which is the sky up here. After setting our things in the room, we picked up a shovel, put on some sandals, and headed to the river to check out its famous hot water.
Ooh, this ain't no onsen. Whose idea was this?
I didn't know what I was expecting, but the river water itself was freezing cold, which made crossing a daunting task. Eventually, we made it to the other side and found a spot where the natural hot spring water flowed into the river. Here, it was piping hot, so I laid my tired feet down for a rest.
Wow. Over there, cold. Over here, hot.
That's steaming.
Over there, very hot. You can see it's steaming. This is crazy. This is Kawayu Onsen, where people bathe in the river because there's hot springs here.
You want me to dig deeper?
Alright kids, this is how you shovel your own river foot bath. You use the shovel and you dig. And there you have it.
A foot bath.
Foot bath.
Well, we had a very long day. After checking into the lodge, we went across the street to the river, which has onsen water coming out of it that is very, very hot. So got to use a shovel that was lent to us to dig a foot bath, soak our tired feet for a little bit, and then back inside of our accommodation, there was a private onsen that we got to use there. So the water was super hot, got to take a really nice soak, and now I am super hungry waiting for dinner, and then I will probably sleep again very early, most likely around 8, before starting tomorrow's next day. Ohayou gozaimasu minasan, and welcome to day 4 on the Kumano Kodo trail. After having a little bit of breakfast this morning, I'm going to be taking a couple buses to head towards Kumano Nachi Taisha. Going to have a brief walk on the trail, but nothing compared to yesterday, so going to let the body recover a little bit. I do feel a little bit achy and sore from the past day's travels, but enjoying a more leisurely morning and going to head into the bus soon. But I'm very excited to see the shrine and waterfall that is supposed to be on the itinerary today. So I'll take you with me on the bus and let's head to the next destination. So we had a little bit of change in plan today. Originally I was going straight to the Kumano Nachi Taisha, the shrine and the waterfall. But since we are here in Shingu, I realized that it would be best right now to go to Kumano Hatayama Taisha, which is really close to the station. So right now it's just about a 10-15 minute walk from Shingu station. Let's go see the second of the grand shrines here on the Kumano Kodo. There's some beautiful vermilion and green at this shrine, and a lot less people compared to the first one we were at. So just took a quick walk around the Kumano Hayatama Taisha shrine. It was beautiful orange, and I picked up a little lucky crow fortune. I was looking for something to remember this trip, and I have a little amulet now for good luck to follow me on all the rest of my trips. And I also picked up 3 big oranges to snack on during the rest of our travels today. So now we are going to be heading to the original destination. We are going to Kumano Nachi Taisha.
Crack, 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 crack.
This is Nachi Station. We have taken the bus here and we'll be waiting for the next bus to take us to the area where the falls are. So we just got off of the bus at Daimonzaka, and now we are going to walk a bit to the mountain waterfall shrine. So it's supposed to be about a 1-hour climb to the top from where the bus dropped us off in the beginning of Daimonzaka. We are now on a cobblestone road surrounded by large trees, going up, and we just got another stamp. We finished climbing the Daimonzaka. Now it looks like we're in a little town area, and we have signs on the left pointing towards the Nachi Taisha shrine. So we'll go to the left over here. More steps. I thought it was rest day, but we are climbing step after step. We are almost there, but still climbing. So many steps. Just climbed up all these steps. Now we have a large 28. And we're not there yet. Another flight stairs. Kumano Nachi Taisha Grand Shrine. This is the 3rd of our grand shrines here on the Kumano Kodo, and we have reached it. Yay! This is an 850-year-old sacred camphor tree. Whew. We made it. This is called Nachi-san Seigan Toji Temple. It is one of Japan's important cultural assets and is the oldest building in the Kumano area. It says that it was built in 1590 and is now a registered World Heritage Site. And now we are walking to one of the most anticipated views of this trip, going to see the pagoda and the waterfall. Here we are. Woo. For 500 yen, you can enter the 3-storied pagoda and see the waterfall across the way. We are now heading to the waterfall to see it up close. Wow, you can see it high above us. This is said to be the largest single drop waterfall in Japan, right here. So at the waterfall, you can pay 300 yen to go farther and see the waterfall more up close. It's a little bit more stairs. Thought we were done with these, but it's continuing just a little bit more to have a different view. And here we are, a special view. So we just visited the Nachi waterfall. There were a lot of stairs down and a lot of stairs up, but got to see a cool view of the waterfall, which I mentioned was Japan's largest single drop waterfall. Paid a little bit extra to get a different view and then hurried back in time to get in line for the bus. This bus I'm going to take until Kii Katsuura station, which is near where I'm going to be spending the night. Again, the buses here are pretty infrequent and very crowded, especially in these popular areas. But was able to get some soba, took a little break, and now I'm very excited to be winding down to spend a more leisurely night at Kii Katsuura. But getting ready to go on another bus, and then I will show you Kii Katsuura. After checking into our little room, we headed out to try some of Kii Katsuura's specialty, tuna. At a creative izakaya restaurant, we tried fried tuna katsu, which was like a bite of sashimi with a crispy crust, as well as a plate of thickly cut tuna slices. Tired from another packed day, I was soon fast asleep in bed. Good morning, everybody! Another slightly misty morning here, but I am saying ohayo gozaimasu from Kii Katsuura, Japan's tuna area. Now it is just around 6:30 a.m. and the reason why I'm up early today is to get a fresh start for seeing a tuna auction. So here at Kii Katsuura around 7 a.m. there is a tuna auction that happens pretty much every morning, so going to go and try to see that. Afterwards, I will be on my way on the long journey back to Fukuoka. So last morning adventure until the end of this trip. So we're able to walk around the outskirts of all of the action right now, but there are hundreds and hundreds of tuna and other fish lined up, all fresh, not frozen, and they're going about weighing the fish and organizing them for the auction that will start at 7. And we are right next to the water. You can see the boats that probably brought all of the fish in over here. So the way that the tuna auction works, it looks like the potential buyers, they use these metal crowbar looking instruments to observe the different fish. They look at a piece of meat near the tail, they flip it over or look into the stomach and into the gills, and then they make notes on these little thin pieces of board using chalk, and they're given to a central station, and then once it's 7 they start processing those bids, and then the people who were successful are announced, and then they are able to take their fish away. And in here is a second floor viewing space and tuna museum. Close to the auction was a little market area that opened at 8 a.m. Right next to that market was a free footbath that had cute maguro tuna tiling. Once open, you could enter the market for morning tuna breakfast, tuna sushi, and other souvenirs. And here we have our morning seafood meal, a fresh tuna over rice bowl as well as some soup, and we can eat this on the dock over the water. And now it is time to head back to Fukuoka. I have a long train ride ahead of me, first taking the local train back to Shin Osaka and then the Shinkansen back to Hakata. But it has been such a fun time on this journey, one of my longer trips here so far and also one of the more taxing ones with all of the walking. My body is really sore, but thank you so much for coming with me on this journey. There was so much wrapped up into it as we ventured along the Kumano Kodo, got to see a lot of Wakayama prefecture. As always, I am so thankful for you for following me on this journey. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe for more Japan adventures. I look forward to seeing you on the next adventure.